couple of journalists you know about.
Glenn's Jeff ready for this week, mate?
Absolutely. Jeff's in the best condition of his career. Really happy with that, and everything's gone like clockwork. So all of the sparring over the last 3 weeks, he's done 68 rounds of season one sod. We know season's not many, but there's only one many. So, you know, again, he's as good as we could get. He's ranked number 3 in the world, hasn't lost for 10 years, and he's a very tough guy. He's intense. So yeah, that's been great.
What gives you confidence that this whole situation, the whole week, won't be too overboring for Jeff?
It's very important for Jeff, and as I've said to Jeff, we will get everything done that we've got to do. We just be very well organised. We stay in the moment. We don't get overwhelmed by anything. We're not getting stressed out. We're just relaxing and following the steps and being disciplined and organised. And as long as we do that, then yeah, we'll get through the week without a problem, and we'll bring our best on Sunday.
Is he off social media now? Glenn, you taking away from that stuff, or are you happy for him to still sort of have a look at what people are saying and writing that?
I prefer him not to really look at what people are saying. I don't myself read forums and things like that. I'm aware that they're out there, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think that's healthy. It's great for the sport, and as I've said, this is a contest between two good guys. There's no bad guys here. There's two humble heroes, and I think it just shows how great the sport boxing is, that when you can get two good guys, you don't need a trash talker. There's two great boxers here that are prepared beautifully, and it's going to be, of course, it's going to be a war come Sunday, I have no doubts. They're both fierce competitors, but yeah, it's been fantastic, and again, my suggestion to you is keep off the social media.
It sounds like Pacquiao's ready for the ball. If you're Jeff, can go toe-to-toe if it ends up being.
Yeah, Jeff can go. Jeff can do. We can adapt. You know, I mean, one of the things that I've developed over the years is always. In fact, I founded my original martial arts style on the scorpion, and the reason I did that is the scorpion is an adaptable creature. They can adapt in the desert, in cold climates, anywhere, and it was all about adaptation. So we can adapt. You know, if it's a brawl, we're ready for a brawl. If it's a long distance, we're ready for that. If whatever it is, you know, we're ready for it. So that's the thing I love about Jeff, is that he can quickly adapt, and I've trained him that way for 11 years.
What do you make of the talk in the Philippines that Manny's rediscovered his punching power?
I think that's wonderful. Bring it. You know, what I want is, I want Manny to bring his A game. I've said the same thing to Caesar the last 3 weeks. You gave your darndest out there. You bring your A game. You know, you do your very best. Don't pussyfoot around. Don't try and mollycoddle Jeff at all. Bring your A game. The same with Manny Sunday. We want Manny to bring his A game. We want this to be a real serious contest between two perfectly prepared athletes. That's what we want.
Glenn, do you feel there's any pressure on yourself as a trainer? Because obviously everybody's wondering how Jeff's going to perform. Do you feel that pressure yourself?
Oh, I don't feel it, but yes, the pressure is there. You know, but yes, the pressure is there. As you know, in any sport, if an athlete or a team doesn't perform, you know, that's always the trainer's fault. So, you know, I don't feel it, but I understand it's there. And again, like Jeff, it's all a matter of just staying in the moment, second by second. If you look up on that mirror, it says every second counts. And as far as I'm concerned, it's all about just staying in the moment. Every second, second by second, this week, on the day of the fight, if we just keep doing what's right every second, and that goes for those 60 seconds between rounds, at the end of the fight we'll hear the words I want to hear, and that's me world champion.
Sorry, how important just the first round or two, or even the first minute of the first round, just for Jeff to get himself into this contest and just shake those cobwebs or nerves away if there are any?
They're all important. Every second counts. No, you can get knocked out in the first second of the bout, you can get knocked out in the last second of the bout. And so it requires, when you're fighting a great champion like Manny Pacquiao, you must be disciplined throughout the entire fight. You know, you can't warm into the fight, and you can't cruise at the end either. You've got to be ready for an absolute war. It's like stepping out onto a battlefield. You can't say, I'll just get out there and I'll just warm into it and let a few bullets hit me and I'll just sort of get going. The idea, as soon as you come out that very first second, I always say to Jeff just before he walks out, you know, raise the awareness, let's be ready for battle, because the battle begins now, as soon as that bell goes. So that's how it works.
There's obviously hundreds of videos of Manny Pacquiao. I wasn't sure there's many they've been able to see it perform. Do you think that gives you an advantage?
I think it does. I mean, I believe personally that Manny is Manny. He's had 67 fights and an illustrious career, but what you see is what you get. You know, it's what I call a WYSIWYG approach. He isn't going to change anything. You know, it's Manny. That's how he operates. Whereas Jeff is very adaptable, changeable. There's only been 17 fights for our opposition, for Freddie Roach, as great a trainer as he is, to study Jeff. And Jeff's still evolving. I can assure you that I've said to Jeff, you'll always be a work in progress. I'll continually adapt and evolve you and develop new skills. So we're still developing Jeff, and I think I do think that does give Jeff an advantage.
What about his mood? Does he seem more nervous in the previous fights, or does he seem more focused?
No, he's very focused. Naturally, if you sit down and dwell on the wrong things, you can get nervous, but I encourage Jeff not to do that. And just do the work and distract himself if he needs to, have a game of cards, go and play with his dog, you know, Lexi or something, but just don't get caught up in it. If you do, get up and do a bit of shadow boxing or something, you know, but don't just sit there and stew and basically think negative thoughts. So, but yeah, naturally every boxer, your mind's a funny thing, isn't it? So, you know, it's hard not to think about things, and as much as possible, he just does what he has to do.
Glenn, just going forward, obviously there's talking the tickets are going up, but you do need a full house because every person, every voice can make a difference.
Absolutely. I agree. I believe ticket sales are over 45,000. We'd dearly love to see a full house. And my vision originally when I said to Dean Lonergan is I see Jeff Horn fighting at Suncorp Stadium in front of a full house. So, I'd love to see the rest of the tickets. I believe they will, because that's what I saw. I could see Jeff fighting in front of a full house at Suncorp Stadium. So I really hope that Queensland and Australia and the rest of the world really get behind this. This is a brilliant fight, and I really hope they get behind it this week and they come out in their droves. I mean, look at the weather, it's amazing. So, it's going to be a great day.
It could be one of those moments, like in 20 years' time, people are saying, considering where Jeff will go after this, it could be one of those moments, I was there, like 20 years ago.
Couldn't agree more. A defining moment, one of those you just had to be there. I was there. Again, let's hope that the Queensland crowd get out behind Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao. We want them to support Manny as well. We're not saying we don't want the crowd there against Manny. We just want the crowd there to support these two great athletes. And naturally, of course, we know the way we want the result to go. But that's up to Jeff and I to get that done.
You talked to both camps. It does seem like this is two irresistible forces are just going to come together, just so aggressive. But this, we've used the word war a few times, but I can't see it any other way.
It's the old saying, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an irresistible object? That's almost like this massive explosion. So it's just going to be, one of the things that I've had to do through this campaign is to basically take a very young, strong body and put a very old head on those shoulders. So I'm trying to bring the wisdom of someone who's had 70 or 80 fights into someone who's had 17 fights. So that's the head that I'm trying to put on Jeff Horn's shoulders, because everybody thinks many will beat Jeff on experience. But as I've often said, you don't hit someone with a right experience or a left experience. So you don't hit them with the 8 division world titles or 11 world titles. You don't hit them with that. It's just two guys. It's two warriors out there. It's just 4 fists. It's a matter of whether Jeff can land his 4, his 2 better than Manny can land his 2. So that's what it's going to come down to. He will not have anything, I can tell you now, Manny Pacquiao will have nothing on Jeff Horn in terms of just spiritual strength. Jeff is as strong as an ox. He believes in himself 100%. He'll have nothing on Jeff in terms of condition. Jeff is as fit as hands can make him. It's just going to come down to execution on the day. So this is a real contest.
Just one more, and just for what it's worth, welcome to the Filipino contingent here. Welcome to, just for their sake more so, you have a process in place, and it's time to the end, to right to the second, isn't what happens on a daily basis here when Jeff's training. If you want to take them through how the 145.
Obviously, we're training every day at the time that we're going to be fighting. His body's conditioned, to be performing at the time that the main event will be on. It is all finely tuned. This program, I put it in place 10 weeks ago, and we haven't missed a beat. Day by day, we've been following the plan. So it's the old plan to work and work the plan, and we've been doing that. And by the way, thank you very much to all of the people that have come from the Philippines. We welcome you to Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. We hope you have a wonderful time here and really enjoy this magnificent event.
There seems to be pressure on Manny Pacquiao scoring a knockout. His first in like 7-8 years. How do you intend to turn that to your advantage?
I think Manny Pacquiao, like Jeff, I always say that all boxing matches ideally end in a KO. To me, it's like a chess game, and KO is checkmate. So we want a KO, Manny wants a KO. We both want a KO, have no doubt about that. So do we. But again, whether or not, you've got to remember both of these people are very tough. I've never seen Jeff hurt in his career, not in the amateurs, not in the professionals. He's literally got a jaw of granite. I've never seen him hurt. So I'm not saying it can't be. One of my favourite sayings is they all go down. So anyone can be hurt, but I've never seen Jeff hurt. I've had him up against super middleweights, let alone welterweights. So I've never seen him hurt. But yes, we'll be aiming for a KO. I have no doubt many will be aiming for a KO. Whether he gets one, whether we get one, that remains to be seen. And that's part of the beauty of boxing, is the volatility of the sport, that in 1 second everything can change.
Who do you think is faster, Horn or Pacquiao?
Manny Pacquiao is very, very fast, and there's probably not many boxers in the world that exhibit his God-given speed. He has just got natural speed, both in legs and in hands, so he's incredibly fast. But all of these things can be nullified. So, there are ways to nullify speed. There's, it can be done. If you look at how the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight went, again, these things, it can be beaten. So it doesn't matter what strengths you've got, they can be used against you.
Yeah, the story is 11 years ago, a young Jeff Horn stepped into your gym. Is this the gym you're talking about?
Absolutely. This is where he walked in here at 11 years ago as a bullied school kid, and had never thrown a punch in his life, and to take Jeff through the steps and to temper both his mind and his body. And it's taken years of it's psychology and science. Boxing is not just, obviously hard work. There's a lot of psychology, there's a lot of science, trying to temper his mind and body to the point where he is today, and he's like a samurai warrior these days. He's a really, he's a fierce competitor. It's taken time.
Aside from Manny's experience and speed, what concerns you most about Jeff fighting?
Nothing concerns me. I'm not concerned. It's just a matter of, naturally, we know that Manny has got a brilliant left hand. We know that. His strongest weapon is his left hand, without question. But if you're too focused on that, you're going to get knocked out by his right hook or his left uppercut, or so again, it's no different to a football game. If you worry too much about one player, the other players will score tries. So we know his strengths, and of course in what percentages, but again, we can't be just overly focused on one thing.
Glenn, you've gone through a lot of video of Manny's fights, and I think you've learned some things that can work against him. What have you learned not to do against Manny Pacquiao from looking at those fights?
Not get complacent for a start. Again, one of my favourite sayings is respect everyone, idolise no one. So, whilst we will be very respectful and mindful of his skills and what he's got, we'll be very mindful of lots of things about what Manny does. And again, in studying Manny's fights, and I've studied an awful lot of them, I can assure you, hundreds of hours of video analysis on Manny Pacquiao, and I can see all of the mistakes that people have made, and also how Manny has handled different styles of fighters. So it's very, very important not to fall into the traps that other fighters have fought when they fought Manny Pacquiao. Fighters like Ricky Hatton, Oscar De La Hoya, Vargas Bradley, you can see, and I can analyse and tell you exactly why they lost and what they did wrong and what they should have done better. Sorry, you had a question there.
Did you focus more on Manny Pacquiao's strengths or his weaknesses?
Both. Naturally we need to nullify his strengths, and then we have to exploit his weaknesses. And Manny makes mistakes, but all boxers do. No boxer is mistake-free. So he makes mistakes. In his younger day, I think he was a little bit more reckless. He would throw caution to the wind. I think since the Marquez KO, he's been a little bit more measured. He's just been mindful. He knows he's human. Okay, and when you suffer a knockout of that significance, that's out cold, something changes slightly in the chemistry of your brain. You know what can happen. And I think he's been a little bit more measured since then. So he's been a little bit, just managed his risk a little bit better.
Does it make him a better?
Yes and no. Sometimes you have to seize the moment, and sometimes if there's something in your mind that stops you seizing the moment, it can be a negative. But in the other hand, it's a positive because you don't probably make the mistakes you would have made without that.
The level of quality of the fighters that Manny has fought is obviously way above Jeff's previous opponents. How much did you have to leapfrog his physical skills to be able to fight an opponent like Manny Pacquiao, 11-time world champion, and fought in this huge stage many times? I mean, how did you do that, and did you do anything different compared to your preparation from previous fights?
Yeah, great question. Certainly there's things I said to Jeff early in his career. Jeff, I'll never ask you to do more than you need to win each fight.
Yeah.
I said, but one day I'm going to ask you for a big effort. And I said, it needs to be there. When I ask you, it needs to be there. And I've never pushed Jeff any harder than I've had to get the job done. And people say, oh, you've only fought for Neck or Randall Bailey, whomever you fought. Right. And I say, we can only fight the best fighters we can get. We would have fought Bradley, we would have fought Vargas, but we can't get them, and you can't blame them. They're saying, where's my upside? Why should I do that? They don't want to lose to a guy that's had 10, 12, 14, 15 fights naturally. So we can only fight the best fighters we can get. And I can assure you, when I've spoken to the matchmaker for Duco, I said, this is my minimum requirement when Jeff has a fight. Firstly, they must be world ranked. Secondly, I want them to have about a 90% success record in at least 20 fights. That's what I want. And the matchmaker for Duco said, you're crazy. He said, I don't understand you. He said, most trainers don't want to fight anyone with a pulse. Yeah. And here you are, you don't want to fight anyone unless you're the opposite. And I said, yeah, I know, because you know why? I said, I want to harden Jeff. If we're going to be found wanting, I want to get found wanting on the way up. I don't want to get to the very top and be found wanting. I said, so I want to test him. I want to measure him. I want to challenge him. I said, and we will see whether he's got the goods. I know he has, but I have to keep doing this. That's also to build his confidence.
So you were able to leapfrog.
Yes. Push him harder, because he's always known I would push him harder. He's fitter than he's ever been for this fight. Jeff Horn is the fittest he's ever been in his career, and his hands are like steel, and his body is just like absolute granite. As I said, he's in terrific shape. Sorry? Yeah. Anybody else?
Manny Pacquiao prefers to fight in the center of the ring. So does this mean you will be pushing Jeff to force Pacquiao to the ropes?
We can work it either way. We would have fought in a phone box if he wanted to. I actually tried to get the smallest ring. Someone wanted a bigger ring. Hey, we don't care. Just ready to do battle in any environment. So big ring. Jeff can put people where he wants to in the ring. He can fight in any size ring. So yeah, I have no concerns. But we're going to see. I know in this fight that their spirits will be tested. Okay, in this fight. Okay, I have no doubt that this is going to be a much better fight than we've seen against Mayweather, even Vargas and Bradley. It's going to be a much better fight. I think we've eliminated all of the problems that a lot of these fighters, and I've worked hard. I've got a 10-point plan, and Jeff is the only person who has that 10-point plan. And I said to him, you follow the 10-point plan that I've sent to you confidentially, we win the fight. Simple as that.
Mate, just with that, just last one. Do you expect this is going to be a knockout? No matter who wins, do you reckon it's going to knock out? Or?
It's hard to know. A knockout occurs one of three ways. Either one, the fighter goes down, it's all over, so that's a cold knockout. The referee stops the fight, or the corner throws the towel. They're the three ways a stoppage can occur. Again, as I've always said to Jeff, if a fighter stays on his feet, all we can do is keep doing our job. We keep scoring the punches. If he goes down, it's up to him and his willpower whether he can stay on his feet. So, but then again, Jeff has just physically knocked people down, as many have. Sometimes they want to stay on, but the physicality is there, just puts them down.
Considering the approach that, you reckon it's a good chance it's going to end like that because they're both going to come at each other?
Yes, I think there's a good chance. If someone said to me, I think there's probably about an 80% chance this fight will end in a KO, and I would suggest that it would happen late in the fight, probably not earlier in the fight. I think we're going to see a real war, and it's just going to be getting tough towards the end.
So did you say late in the fight?
I think so, myself. Yeah, I think that we're most likely to see a stoppage late in the fight. But again, we will see on Sunday.
Well
See you
done.
on Sunday.
Good stuff, mate. Now, just, Diane, do you want to set up quickly?
We are.